And we are live. How's it going? My name is Rick. I'm also known as Rick's Two Cents. Thank you for joining live, hosting live questions and answers for woodworking, laser engraving, you name it, with Steve. Steve makes everything. Roger Shop.
Hey,
Yeah, if you got any questions about laser engraving or 3D printing or any of that kind of good stuff, fire away.
CNC, basically any shop equipment that's plugged into a computer is kind of our forte, right?
You know, I did have something I wanted to discuss with you guys. At any point that I'm talking, because my mic is down. DJI.
Yes. So speak closer to your computer.
Right, I'm getting close.
Yeah, there, that's good.
Let me know. But when I was in Canada, in your neck of the woods, a cousin, my wife's cousin, he had a question. He said, you know, I asked my mom and I bugged my mom for a CNC. She bought me one. And then when I got it home, I was a little discouraged in using it. So I know a lot of times we're addressing adults and people trying to do a side hustle, but I have questions for you guys because I yet myself don't have a CNC. What advice do you give these kids? I mean, because these kids they're real tech savvy, and CAD, 3D mapping, the software they got. What advice do you give kids trying to maybe grow something or to get in the industry when it comes to 3D printing or even laser engraving in
general? Geez, that's a tough one.
I know.
Dive in basically is the first thing, right? Like just do something. Like, you know, you don't want to get into analysis paralysis, right? Like you can look at, there's a million CNCs out there. And I mean, when people say on the stream, like, what laser should I buy? We always give the same answer, right? What are you trying to do? And most people don't necessarily know. And it's the same thing with CNCs, right? I don't know what kind of CNC I need because I don't know really what I want to do until I actually start doing it. And I'm on my third CNC in 4 years, like my main one. Because I started out like most people with a really cheapy one, because I didn't need to do anything big at the time, but very quickly I started picking up projects again and needed big ones. And even the one I have now isn't big enough for some of the stuff I have to do, but you dive in, you go, okay, here's what I actually need to do. Now I need to go find the CNC that does that. So there's no right answer, right? You just start. It's like YouTube, right? You just start.
Right. So there you go. So, you know, the thing is too, is I would say that if there are kids watching the YouTube channel, and I do watch some of the demographics, and I look at, you know, the age groups that are watching us and the, you know, where they're watching us from. You know, I would say that the bulk of our viewers are between 35 to 45 years old, but we do have a fan base that's in that teenage. You know, so not to push them off the cliff, so to speak, but you know they're watching.
Yeah.
So I would say too, so the people too that are watching that are not voicing their opinions, speak up. You know that's the whole point of these lives. I mean, at the end of the day, we are all reputable YouTubers, right? You can watch any one of our videos on a lot of different topics, but this is a unique environment when you're going to have people who have a great skill set in the same room to literally ask a question and have an immediate answer.
Yeah. So, and I don't know about you, but I've spent money so that people don't have to. Because you know, I built my workshop when I had a fairly significant job. So, you know, I wouldn't say, hey, I'm rich, but money was not really a thing I was that concerned about when I was buying equipment. And there were times when I bought the wrong thing, and it was like, yeah, there's a couple $1,000s I won't get back, but you move on. And, you know, hopefully I can help other people not have to spend that kind of money, right? Just by accident. So
there's a meme, I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but it's like a guy with a car and his wife says, how much did you pay for that? He's like, they gave it to me. They gave it to me. Have you guys seen that meme?
Yeah.
So that's like the meme, the joke in my household when one of these show up, and I'm like, they gave it to me, you know. But the point is that even if this is free, all the stuff you need to make it operate and run, to be productive, to make you an income, it's not. Right?
Yeah, and by the time you do a video, it's not free anymore.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, back when I had a beard. Yeah, I can still grow a beard pretty quick. Problem is, if I do now, I look like Santa Claus.
Geez, I'm gonna have to go watch that video.
So
I can't see you with a beard. All right, where are we here? Steven's back with his usual sandwich money. Thank you, Steven.
Oh, here you go. Roger, I watched your birdhouse video from 4 years ago.
Yeah, we were just talking about that one. Yeah. Ah, there you go. Yep.
Exactly.
Well, you won one, Michael. So you know you got 3 that you bought. Maybe one was free. This is the challenge. Like when somebody buys a laser, if they're remotely interested at all, you can tell them with absolute certainty it's not the last laser they're going to have.
100%.
And then it's lasers are a gateway tool. So you're going to say, well, I want to do some 3D stuff, but I can't really do that. So you're either going to buy a printer or you're going to buy a CNC, and before long you have a whole shop full of electronic tools.
We can testify to that. It's been all our cameras.
Yes. I actually keep my studio here fairly isolated from technology. Most of the technology is my camera and microphone, but I do have the odd thing here. I'm working on version 2 of my the lift for my rotary on my CNC. I won't say bigger, better, faster, because it's actually much smaller. That's why I built it. Oh, there we go. Craft dinner. Yeah, we were talking about craft dinner last week. That's a uniquely Canadian thing. In the US, it's called Kraft mac and cheese. Apparently, you don't just eat it for dinner. I don't eat it. I don't eat it at all. So
I like Kraft mac with fried hot dogs.
Yeah, that might be okay. Anything that covers up the taste of glue.
I like the fried hot dogs. I was trying to find a picture as I'm looking down. But I was at Niagara Falls, and there was a Canadian company that had a CNC in the store, and they were making signs. And I took a picture, and I thought that was actually pretty cool with the variety of signs that they had. You know, again, people are always asking, like, you know, what are items they can make, you know, when they first get into the business.
Oh, the limitations with PLA. Well, if you don't want to use it on anything you're going to have out in the sun, because UV light will break that down in a hurry.
So I've actually had, I built a, to keep wasps away, you hang up those fake wasp nest things, right? And it chases them away. So I actually 3D printed one, and I used PLA, and it's been hanging outside for 4 years, and it's still solid. So I don't know, maybe PLA is getting better.
Well, I tried making some electric fence insulators that go on a steel T-post, and they weren't great. They fit fine, except after the first season, they just crumbled. And for the stuff I do here with almost all the parts I make, I use PLA Plus or PLA Professional.
Yeah, I mostly 3D print with PETG, because it prints just as well as PLA, but it lasts forever, right? It's the stuff they make water bottles out of.
Yeah.
Here's a good question. What is the difference between a fiber laser and an iron? Both will do metal?
You're going to have to step closer to the microphone, sir.
Here's a good question. What is the difference between a fiber laser and an IR? Will both do metal?
Will IR do metal very well?
IR will etch metal, but that's about it. You're not going to engrave anything. All to do is etch it.
Yeah, most of the IR modules are 2 watts, which is enough to, put your name on a piece of stainless steel, but it's not you won't feel it on the surface. Oh, there may be a bit of roughness. You won't feel height.
I think if you're doing ionized colored metal, like dog tags, it's enough to take the coloring off.
Yeah, but a diode laser will do that. Right.
But what I'm saying, you had an all-in-one and you're going to like a trade show type thing, maybe a smaller unit.
Yeah, so one of the reasons I'm anxious to see this Acmer P3 laser is it's got a diode laser and a a IR laser in the same module. And I should have it in a couple of weeks, probably.
I recently
it's
upgraded
due
from
to
a
be released at like the end of July, I think.
Okay. I recently upgraded from a dial laser to a CO2 laser. Do you think
Sweet.
there's a use case to keep an additional dial laser into the CO2 laser, or will those
Yeah.
CO2 lasers do everything?
No. So CO2 lasers don't do stainless steel nearly as nice as a diode laser will.
I also think that
unless you're retiring a 5-watt diode laser, that would be fucking go.
Agreed. But I also think that even if they are both of a higher watt laser, that as you get into these more detailed lasers, you're occupying the space, right? So even if, let's just say, you would be doing something on a diode laser that'd be more likely to use a CO2 or vice versa, it's nice to have the option to be able to have two lasers, because if you only have one, it means you only have none, right? And
another thing might be your work area. Generally, you're going to have more work area with a diode laser than you will with a CO2, unless you bought a big one.
Right.
Yeah. Well, my CO2 laser is 2 by 3 feet. So, but even like an X-Tool P2 is 13 by 26, I think, or 25.
Right. So as you start getting more and more business, it's not a bad idea to have options.
Yeah. The big difference between a diode laser and a CO2 laser is speed. Diode lasers cut fast.
Yes.
Right. So it's a time is money kind of thinking. But if you've got two lasers, why would you get rid of one? Right. Just keep it, because sooner or later you're going to have a job and it'll be big, and then you'll need to start another job and you won't have a laser. So.
My rolling laser mastic arrived, and I should be spending time doing material tests. I also did an Aztec calendar. I did just lines. Should I have done line and fill?
Just did lines.
I guess it depends on what that graphic looks like. I'm trying to recall what an Aztec calendar actually looks like.
It's pretty busy.
Yeah, I have one, but it's actually tied to the wall. I would say that image probably is done in layers.
Well, yeah, it's not like a fiber laser though, right? So what I would do with the Aztec calendar is I do an engraving first to get the depth on all the figures, and then I don't even know if I would do a line. I would just do a depth, like an engraved pass, because I think the lines are going to mess up if you're doing it in metal, you could do a line pass, but yeah, I would just do the fill.
And at the end of the day, you don't have to make it full size. Remember, you can do small and do tests. You don't if you're going to start marketing a 12-inch or 14-inch, you don't have to make it. You can make it 5 inches, 4 inches. It's the same thing, and just see the results, and then try to duplicate them bigger.
Yeah, if I don't do the Aztec calendar very often, but if I do, it's usually just like coin size, right?
I'm waiting on a possible upgrade of the X1. I heard they may be raising the Z axis. Do you know anything about this upgrade?
X1. Sorry, I'm thinking about what's the X1.
That's what I'm trying to think too. I'm running through my mind of all my lasers, and that one's not ringing a bell.
I'm assuming X1 means X-Tool, but I don't
know.
know.
No, because X-Tool doesn't have an X1. They have an S1.
I just made the assumption. So please re-emphasize on that.
There's probably an atom stack that...
bamboo carbon X1. 3D printer.
Okay. Wow, we switched context here.
Yeah. I haven't had any reason to need a higher Z axis on mine, but I haven't had to print anything tall in there. If I need to print anything really tall, I usually use my Longer LK5.
So Steven's getting or you're looking at the WeCreate. So I have two of them now. I have the 20 watt, which is really old. It's in very early production run, and I got the 40 watt, and the 40 watt is head and shoulders from a quality perspective, head and shoulders above the 20 watt, in part because it's a year and a half older, or newer rather. I like the WeCreate. I would dare to say, and I know there will be people who argue with me, I dare to say I like it better than the X-Tool S1.
Oh,
Yeah.
you might beat me up for that one.
Yeah, like I'm actually using it on. It's on my workbench right now. It's my go-to diode laser right now because I'm doing a long-term test, and it replaced my S1, which I was also doing a long-term test on. And I had no issues with the S1. But what I like about the WeCreate is if you want to jump back and forth between Make It, their software, and Lightburn, WeCreate has the best Lightburn integration of anybody.
Would you also say that, and I know it's an unfair advantage because you are experienced, but that, using a proprietary software they have, so maybe that makes a little bit of a level playing field, that you're able to kind of hit the ground running, so to speak, or maybe do things that you haven't done before?
Yeah, the WeCreate is also probably the easiest laser to use. You can literally pull the thing out of the box and do something in probably 20 minutes. Like anybody, if you haven't seen a laser, right? You can fire up the canvas and Make It, drop something on there and push the go button, and you'll have something engraved in probably 20 minutes, 25.
That says a lot of life.
Yeah, like it is by far the easiest laser to use. And if you do want like I'll say the power of Lightburn, some might say the complexity of Lightburn, it has a really nice Lightburn integration. If they had found a way to integrate their camera into Lightburn, it would be the only laser I recommend for Lightburn, in fact.
Wow.
Well, their camera is so accurate, right? Compared, like you put a camera in Lightburn, and what you get is a picture of your laser, and you're kind of, you know where the desk is, basically, right? With this thing, it's accurate to probably half a millimeter, certainly less than a millimeter, anyway.
So I have a camera, but I've never honestly installed it and used it.
Yeah, I think you'll find most people who use Lightburn, and I've reviewed a couple of cameras on my channel over the past, but people go, "Ooh, I got a camera now. I can save material, or I can position things faster." Within probably a month, that camera's sitting in a corner somewhere.
That's exactly what happened with me. I had an Adam Sack camera, and it was just a pain in the ass. So I finally just took it off and sold it.
Yeah.
So would you say that because you became more accurate at placing your material, so that the camera's more of a noob resource, or why would you say that?
No, it's not even a noob resource because it's not accurate.
No,
it's not the camera per se. It's how Lightburn calibrates the camera, and it's just not accurate. Like they just can't get it accurate.
Then if your laser vibrates at all, it's going to throw the whole thing off.
Yeah, and they always tend to be sitting up on big pedestals, hanging over the middle of the laser, and they're wobbly, and it's just a total pain. That's where things like the WeCreate, the Rolly, the Creality Falcon 2 that have cameras built in, they're still not accurate because of Lightburn calibration, but they're closer. And they're more passive, right? You don't have to worry about whether it's in position or anything because it's there. But it's just not nearly as accurate as the WeCreate camera, like not even close.
So I see this WeCreate camera, and it's being marketed heavily, kind of like when, what is it? What's it called?
Well, it is, I think, their market differentiator, right? Like it is, like lots of lasers have cameras, but none of them are as accurate as that thing is.
Yeah, I just see that. I see it being featured a lot in a lot of the Facebook marketing, the ads that pop up.
Yeah, with good reason. Now it's unfortunate that they don't have a way to get that migrated over to Lightburn through the through the Lightburn integration that they have.
See, Steve, if there's something you want, you got to keep putting it in the comments and say, hey, you want one of us to review it, maybe we'll give it away. I'm just saying. That's another way. Otherwise, hustle hard, and maybe then eventually you'll be able to make it.
Yeah, if you move to the east coast of Canada instead of the west coast of the U.S., you'd have much closer access to one.
So Clack Shack said, not here, cameras rock if you collaborate them correctly.
Sure. You can spend a lot of time.
So
We'll agree to disagree on that one, David.
Speaking of Mr. David over here, I got the Meta glasses. Before I left in New York, I ordered them, and they ended up sending me a text. It was 8:30 p.m. and I was already on the road. And they're actually ready at 8:30 a.m. So I could have picked them on the way up to New York. So that sucks. But I got them. So we'll hopefully show them those later on. But yeah, he was the first that I actually seen anyone online on YouTube. Actually, if anyone in our inner circle, I would say, that had them. So we'll see how they.
Yeah, I looked at when he did his little walking around review on those glasses. I looked at it and went, okay, that's ridiculous. But there's numerous times when I've gone, man, I wish I had those glasses.
Well, it said that you can look at something, and you could say, Meta, tell me the history of this building. Meta, tell me the breed of this dog. Meta, tell me what type of flower this is. So that was interesting. Or if you're filming something, Meta, create a title description for the content that you're looking at. So we'll see. But I thought that was pretty cool. And if you have to,
we got to get David to dial into our live stream as a guest one of these days.
Hey, Mr. Clack, Dave, you want to join us, bro? I'll send you a link. Let me know. We said we were going to start.
Why don't you come on? We can argue about alignment of cameras
and how much I hate them.
We did say that we're going to pull people from our audience into the live. In fact, if you want to join, man, let me know. I will send you a live.
Well, my thing with cameras is I just, on a laser, other than in the WeCreate, because of the integration there is so good, but otherwise, a laser and a camera to me is just, I don't need it. It's just a nuisance.
You have to calibrate the camera and export a file to each material used, then import back into material used. So he's saying, like you're saying.
Yeah, see, and just that, this is true, but just that statement is a red flag, right? Like, it's different for every kind of material. Like, and I've run into this problem, right? Every thickness is slightly different, and that's the thing that WeCreate cracked, right? I mean, WeCreate has some weaknesses too. It's not like the ultimate in laser technology, but they did crack the camera problem.
Right. I just wish they'd come out with one with a larger work area.
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely a lack in that. It definitely seems small. But I think it also seems like it, and I could be wrong, I'm not stepping on toes, but marketing towards people getting entry level to hit the ground running hard. So maybe they're not necessarily working for a bigger platform. But at the same token, that if you gain that customer base and they become a profitable business, and later on down the road they do have a larger one, I think people would be scared to upgrade. Right? Not if you focus is always the same. Web moves up or camera moves down. All right, you know what? You're gonna have to join live, and we're gonna have to argue this one.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the reason I think the WeCreate camera is because framing is much more of a problem in Make It, right? You can kind of do it, but it doesn't really tell you anything. But their camera is, first of all, it's accurate and it's there, and you forget about having to frame things, right? So,
hey Dave, send me an email real quick, and I'll send you an invite to the live.
P2 has two cameras. It's got a wide field one and a accurate framing camera. I like the P2 camera actually for alignment. It's there, it works, and you don't have to putz around trying to make it all happen, right? It just, and if you're, if you're clack, yes, you probably have the experience to calibrate the camera and make it perfect, but most people don't. And Lightburn's alignment process is a bit wonky. It's a bit of a pain. So I think there's better ways to do it that would make it easier, but it's a hard problem to solve, right? Because most camera, you never know what the size of the footprint of the laser is. So Lightburn has their own set of challenges there.
26 people in the live. Thank you for joining. Any questions? Drop them in the comments. Let us know. That's what we're here for.
Everybody must be off enjoying the hot weather.
It says, I'm gluing up 100 pieces full in order at Kent tonight. All right.
Oh, now it sounds like a hit and run.
Hey, so guys, I'm wearing this shirt I thought was appropriate. A little hilarious. For those who didn't know, I've been kind of gone on the live because I did take a family road trip. I went from Chicago to New York. I was able to see Ground Zero, Times Square, the Empire State Building. I forget the name of the park.
Central Park.
Central Park. And then
I'm not even American, and I know that.
See, that's how well it's known. What can I say? And then I was headed.
It's a nice park.
Yeah, and then I was headed over to Canada to see Niagara Falls. On the Canadian side, not the American side.
I used to live there as a kid.
Yeah, and then headed in Toronto, then headed home. So it was 43 hours, 2,069 miles.
I'm looking. The next question is, oops, that one. Oh, sorry.
What projects have you?
Is that one? What project did I do this week? For me, mostly mayhem.
Well, I've been working on an enclosure for our hot tub, which is almost done. But I did do a little laser work, and I'm going to go grab it here, and I'll be back.
Here, I won't show that one because I'll get in trouble from ComMarker. This one here, I'll show this. Let me see if I can work the magic of the conference thing here.
Present.
Share my screen. Oh, why is it not letting me see? Oh, there we go. There. So this thing in the background is the rapid change tool changer, which I'm putting on my CNC right now. Unlike typical tool changers that are $3,500 to $4,000, this thing it starts at $300.
Nice.
And but I've been working quite a bit with these guys because they didn't have any support for the Onefinity CNC, the Onefinity Elite, and there's been some interesting challenges, but we're worth through them. And I will have a video, at least some shorts up on this pretty soon.
So is the price go up because it has more tools? Like,
yeah, they actually have they have a whole tool changer with up to 8 that holds up to 8 bits. They actually have a rotary tool changer now, like a circular one, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, it's kind of nice because unlike even the expensive tool changers, this thing, the shield there is like a little lid that comes open. So when you go over and change a tool, it opens the lid, grabs the tool, and then moves away and closes the lid again, so that dust doesn't get in there and jam up all the collets. So yeah, it's pretty neat.
So realistically, how many tools or how many bits do you think you average use?
So this one holds 6. I would probably never use more than 3 or 4 in a particular project.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean I won't in the future.
Right. Go big or go home. Sometimes people just buy more than they need, just because then if they need it, it's there, right? Versus, like you said, you're only using 3, but then 6, they're kind of...
Yeah. So anyway, it's there. It's working now. I've got still a couple of software problems I'm working on with them. A couple of macros aren't doing what they're supposed to, but like I said, we're getting there. These guys are pretty responsive. It's the kind of thing you probably miss if you've only ever had lasers from Chinese companies that don't understand product support. Like the first conversation I had with these guys, Don, the guy who owns the company, he sent me an email and said, "Well, let's get on a call." Okay, so we talked for an hour, and I highlighted a few requirements that I had, and lo and behold, some of them popped up in software and within a couple of days. So
this is what happens. You take someone who has a software background and give them a woodworking tool. Right? So that's definitely an advantage for you to them.
So Warrior Woman's question here about the Pone CNC dust boots. I don't know. This dust boot is my own design, by the way. You might notice a little bite out of the back of the access hole through the clear acrylic there. That's a bit of a user error. But the nice thing, so I have actually the dust boot from Onefinity for this laser, but I don't. This one works better. I spent quite a bit of time making sure that it sucks all the sawdust up. So when I'm done a job, there's virtually nothing left on the workspace.
So you printed this yourself?
Yeah. So
are you selling these, or are these able for anyone to
purchase? I could sell one if somebody wanted one, but I haven't really thought about it. It was more of a necessary evil for me.
So if you want one, send them a message.
Yeah, I mean, they're easy to work with. I'm actually going to redesign this because I'd like the dust collection to come out the back rather than the front, and that's just for me selfishly because I like to record things. But it works quite well. Above on the spindle, there's actually another ring that holds the hose coming down, so it keeps everything in there.
Cool. Being inventive to help things in your own wood shop is nice.
I'm inventive by necessity.
Yeah.
I actually have 30 patents, but they're all in like weird tech things, not 3D design.
Nice.
But if you ever want to know how to keep a UV laser wavelength stabilized, let me know. I can do that for you.
All right. Anybody else have any more questions? Anything want to know? Speak up, speak up, speak up. That's what we're here for.
Anyway, that's one thing I was doing. The other thing I was doing is I was mentioning to Rick before we started the call. I've been working with Comm Marker on their new 60-watt MOPA laser, which is still in, I would say, research mode. It's we've had some interesting challenges. They're in the process of sending me a new power supply board.
So as everyone knows, Daniel's in the trades, and we are in the season of trades or builds. So we have to provide for our families, and as much as we like to be here on YouTube, it doesn't full-time pay any one of our bills. So sometimes we have to duplicate the bills.
It's mostly full-time for me.
Yeah, well, Daniel and I are still working full-time, and Roger and you are partially retired, so there's a bit of difference. We'll get there. We're still paying her.
I started making every year I work. Let me turn off my sharing here. Every year I work with a guy who runs a Dungeons and Dragons tournament. It's big. It's got like 400 people in it. And I make him a few player boxes, which he gives away as, I guess, probably the grand prize. They're teams of 4, and he gets about 100 teams. And it's a big deal. It started originally, he's ex-military. He was retired early with PTSD, and he got together with a bunch of other guys in this situation, and it was therapy for them. But then they broadened it out to anybody, and now it's become this big thing.
Yeah.
So I make a few of those for him every year.
Honestly, what's your favorite beginner laser?
Beginner laser. I'd go with the WeCreate.
Yeah, the WeCreate for, you know, you don't want a learning curve. There's not much of one there.
I would say this: you find a lot of people when they say they're beginner laser, they're starting a 5-watt, and that's because it's friendly to the budget.
Yeah,
Not what they want. So
it's getting hard to find a 5-watt laser now.
But the problem is that you're going to outgrow that laser very fast. So
yes, literally, you can see the date on the calendar when you're going to outgrow that.
Right. So the question we get asked over and over, almost on every live, is like, what laser should I buy? And I would say that at least a 20-watt laser, not even going in specifically what brand, but I would say at least a 20-watt laser. 40 and 60-watt lasers are nice to have. But if you have a 20-watt laser or above, you can pretty much do anything. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I wouldn't go less than a 20. 30 is kind of the sweet spot. If money's no object, get a 40. But if you're not going to cut anything, don't get a 40. Like, I mean, as a regular thing. Roger,
do you have any projects to show?
Yeah, I've got this one right here. I did a video here this past week on I did a sign a while back. I don't have it up here anymore. A shop sign with a saw blade. You may remember that. Well, where'd you get the saw blade pattern? Well, I took a saw blade, laid it on a piece of paper, traced it, scanned it, pulled it into a JPEG, and in the light burn, traced it, and boom. So I did a video on how to do that. But this is a 2-layer sign here. Take the back layer off. And this one was done on the WeCreate 20-watt. But this is actually the pattern out of a scroll saw book. So one of my suggestions, people, well, where can I get these patterns? And where can I get these patterns? Well, get a scroll saw book. You can scan the ones out of there. And if you don't want to buy one, go to the library and check it out. Just don't tear the pages out. They don't appreciate that.
You can also use a coloring book.
Yeah, coloring books, yep. Another option.
There's lots of websites that have coloring images too, right? And you can just start with those.
Yeah, and they have adult coloring books, which would be not so like Disney-like type things, and that may be something you want to recreate. So, yeah, very cool for sure.
Yeah, I saw that video too.
I've been under the loop a little bit.
Yeah, and the nice thing is when you pull it out of a scroll saw book, that's probably an advanced cutting job. In a laser, that's easy, right? So,
for sure. For sure. Yeah, so I was talking earlier before we went live that I was laughing. Well, I guess I shouldn't laugh because it's a good thing. But I was saying the difference from the States to Canada. One of the things I noticed right away is I ordered my French fries with gravy, and I got a fork that was made out of balsa wood. It looks like it was cut with a laser, And I said, "Well, can I have a regular fork?" And they said, "That's all we have." But
yeah, it's a health thing. You can't like a takeout place can only use wooden or they use
law.
Yeah, they used to use plastic, and then they have basically banned single-use plastics now. So you go to the grocery store and you get those like thin plastic bags. We can't get those anymore.
Yep.
But even things like plastic forks, straws are made of paper now.
So I got a straw. I finished my drink and I want to get a refill and drink it on the road, which is common what I do at home. And by the time I finished my drink, the straw was like burnt. So I said, "Can I have a straw?" She said, "I already gave you one." And I'm like, "No." Pulled it over on the drink,
You peaked too soon. You should have saved the straw for the car.
you know, and then the garbage, you know, I threw away my garbage, and I swear to God, it was like she was watching me, like right here, you know, because there's like 4 different ways to separate the trash, and she was making sure I wasn't cheating, you know, but very
Yeah,
conscientious.
well, you know, we'd hate to throw you in jail for throwing, you know, your container in the wrong bin.
Very conscientious. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying we may not have those good habits here. But
Yeah,
I was definitely
it's not always like that in all places, but uh, where you were in Niagara Falls, it's very touristy, right? So they like to keep it as clean as possible, and
yeah. Toronto was the same. Yeah,
yeah.
Toronto was-
Yeah, anything that used to be plastic, like forks and spoons and stuff, when you're at takeout places, those are all either wood or you don't get one.
that's crazy. So I also, when I drove into Canada, my truck was completely covered in bugs. I mean, it was comical, right? Like you couldn't even see, like there was thousands of bugs. And not to mention driving through the United States, we have all these what are they called, Roger? The those big bugs right now.
What, cicadas?
Cicadas. Cicada hits you. My God, it's like you took lipstick and rubbed it across your windshield. So I got to Canada and I says, in the States, every light there's a car wash, right? Or every other light there's a car wash. And I says, how come there's no car washes here? Are there car washes here? And they says, oh, we're a little self-conscious of wasting water. Most people wash their cars at home. And I thought they were joking with me when I asked the gas station. And so I asked at another gas station, and I got the same answer. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's a bit of an extreme case. There are car washes here, but
Yeah, I mean, driving through Toronto, I would think I'd see them out, you know, every other corner. And I
yeah, there's not nearly as many as there are in any U.S. city.
right. Yeah, it was definitely different. But yeah, that and
My car's dirty most of the time. So
you know, and I'm horrible at this. I pay for one of those unlimited car washes. Every time I drive my truck, I wash it. My truck is always spotless. You got in my truck.
you still got paint on it.
Yeah, you know, my truck is always spotless. If you got in my truck, it's always spotless. You know, and that's just.
I've got one of those unlimited car wash memberships too, and if you wash your car twice a week or a month rather, it pays for itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, you got a great big 3/4 ton heavy duty pickup like I've got. I don't want to wash it myself.
Yeah. But you know what's the advantage too is that the salt, right? When you go under, it washes the undercarriage.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot too.
Yeah, we are definitely in the salt belt here.
Well, here they don't put salt on the road. They put brine on the road.
What is it?
Just salt water.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like a big tanker and they're spraying it?
Yeah, they just water the road with it, and it keeps the road clear. Well, we get a lot of freezing rain here, right, in the wintertime. We don't get a ton of snow usually. If we can get snow, but a lot of freezing rain, and it's just black ice everywhere. So they just go, yeah, we're not going to discriminate. We're just going to salt everything. So
Modelo. Where I'm at, it's too hot to drink beer, so I'm drinking water tonight.
Right now, Modelo is the #1 sold beer in the United States.
It's not Dos Equis or something.
No, Modelo actually knocked Bud Light out of the top.
I like Modelo.
Yeah. Bud Light is like, we're only getting that subject. It's at the bottom now. It's not even the second tier. It's like, yeah, it's Bush. We even get a run for the real deal. So, yeah. You know, earlier we talked about too is about the kids, and I think that's cool too. That if you know, we have grandkids and we have kids that we're involved in, they're kind of looking up to us or watching us. And I think on the first or second live, we kind of talked about that people nowadays looking at people with the trades as kind of a second-class citizen, or you know, you get your hands dirty doesn't necessarily mean you can make a good living. Rather than dirty hands, clean money. So I would really encourage anyone, you know, that even if you are growing a skill set, and you have a nephew, a cousin, you know, a grandson, something like that, even your own son. You see my little Ricky in a lot of my videos. Encourage them to learn that with you as well, especially if you're trying to actually scale this to build a business. If it becomes a scalable business, those little kids might be some things that actually hold you.
Yeah, you can suck the whole family in.
Exactly. You know, my
Yeah,
dog,
I mean it's a good opportunity to teach kids like basic things like shop safety from day one too, right? Um, I mean, I used to help my father when I was a kid, and he was always doing something, and I was right there to lend a hand. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I do have friends who have like their grandkids go in and they're young, but they do things in the shop, right? Um, you know, they can design things. So get on a drawing program and draw something, and then go, hey, look, now we can turn that into something on a you know, we can cut it out on a laser or engrave it on something, and they're mystified, right? Like it's like so cool to them.
absolutely. And it doesn't necessarily mean they can do it for a living, but it's also not a bad thing to get someone to be able to use their hands. It seems like nowadays most men have two left hands.
Yeah, it's good to inspire, you know, the design mentality too, right?
Yep, creativity.
Yeah. I mean, I know people who they wouldn't know what to do with a laser or a 3D printer or anything that they could create with. It's like, man, you're missing such an opportunity, right? Like, have you ever just wanted a knob for something? Well, you can go 3D print that, right?
Yep.
Um, and you know, it's not even necessarily about saving money. It's an achievement thing, right? It's like, wow, look at that thing I made.
Yeah, the ability to just have that.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I think at some point in time, a 3D printer is going to be like everyone has an actual printer, right? You don't go to a library to print something out on a piece of paper, you know. But at one point in time, it was kind of like that, right? You didn't have a printer at home; they're so expensive. I
Yeah.
think at some point in time, a 3D printer is going to be like an item that you have in your home. Maybe smaller items. That's just something that you would make yourself.
Yeah, I mean, and they're getting so cheap now, right? Like my first 3D printer was like, I don't know, $500, and now a printer that's like 10 times better than that one is 100 or 200. It's just ridiculous how cheap things have gotten.
Too many people have real design skills, own lasers and printers, and they're basically, you know, buying everything off.
Yeah, and that to me is like, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to start a YouTube channel, was not like to say, oh, look, I've got a 3D printer. It was to say, here's what you can do with one. And I would rather spend my time teaching somebody to make something than actually make it for them, right?
Agree.
Like I have people who come to my shop regularly, and I keep saying, I'm going to teach you how to do this so you don't have to pay me.
Yep.
And you know, it's like, you know, people are sometimes shocked with that. It's like, what? You're not trying to just turn me into a money making machine? No, like I have enough things to do.
How do you pronounce this?
Bamboo.
Okay. Bamboo has started a marker project on their site. I ordered the electronics for a mouse 3D printing.
I'm guilty of not really looking around on their site. When I do go to their site, it's to order filament, because I belong to their filament club and I buy a lot of filament here. So the spools are refillable, so I'm not throwing away spools all the time. They got a refill, or you're real easy to put on, so don't have that plastic waste, or in some cases cardboard waste. So you don't want to use a cardboard spool in a carbon printer, because it'll put little fuzzies everywhere, make a mess.
I can't recall, but you guys both had mentioned the site that there was a whole lot of 3D printed files that you could purchase or download. What was that website?
Thingiverse is a good one.
Yeah.
There's also Cults 3D or 3D Cults or whatever it is. That one has lots of different stuff too.
And another one
And
I think is called Fangs.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. It kind of sprung up when Thingiverse was having some issues.
I think it's not a bad idea to be able to create your own artwork, to create something. Specifically, if a customer asks for something and you're unable to edit a file because you have no idea how to do it. But it's also uh, kind of what we were talking about, Steve, earlier today, just cutting our grass, right? Like, even though you may have the ability to do it, like, what could you be doing in that time that it may take you that you can make more money? Like, if somebody that's all they do and you paid them $12 and they were done in 30, they had it
Yeah.
back to you in 30 minutes and you spent 4 hours recreating it. If you're doing it because you want to gain the skill set to build how, have at it. But if you're trying to scalable business or you're trying to, you don't always have to beat your head against the wall just to prove the point. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to outsource something. Just
Yeah. It's, I'm looking for any amount of time I can recover for anything to get, because I just have lots to do in my shop. And it's like, if I spend 4 hours cutting the grass, well, that's half a day I've lost doing that. I can't do something every week. And you add that up pretty quickly. And even if you spend a couple $1,000s on in a robot lawnmower, like I have now, the payback period for that is, well, I can go in my shop and make, anywhere from 50-60 bucks an hour, or I can sit on my tractor and cut my grass for 4 hours and just have it cost me money, not to mention barfing diesel smoke out all over the environment, right? So
14 hours it takes me to cut my grass, so I hear you on that argument.
14 hours. Yeah, but you live on like a farm or something, right?
Well, the thing is too, it's just not fields, right? So I have a lot of trees. So, and I'm guilty of I like the way it looks like crosshatch.
Yeah, so it takes you twice as long.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Alien 3D print sample subscription project. They're monthly.
Yeah, they have some cool stuff. There's a couple of places in I guess they're probably ultimately hosted in China or somewhere in East Asia, that have big libraries too, for all kinds of things, 3D printing and laser cutting. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? You can go online and you can get the kids together and go, okay, what do we want to make today? Or you can, instead of just downloading something, you can design it, and you get, that inspiration of creativity, and the thought that you took something that came out of your brain and you put it on a CAD tool and then went and cut it out on a laser, like you saw it literally from cradle to grave, right? And there's a certain satisfaction with that.
I did see, and I have been seeing more and more that libraries are having these vinyl plotters, 3D printers,
Mhm.
lasers, 100% free to anyone who has a library card, and I think that's phenomenal. So,
Yeah,
we have.
they have them here for sure. Like our local library. I haven't had a library card since I was 10, but I know lots of people who go to those sorts of places, like little maker labs in the library, right? Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a neat use of time, or of space, because fewer people read actual paper books anymore, and they have more space now, right? So you might as well turn it into a maker lab.
I would say pretty much after every single one of our lives, there's some type of email contact or someone from a manufacturer trying to solicit something from one of us, if not all of us. So I know you guys are watching. If you guys donate to local libraries, I think that's outstanding. If that's something you guys, as a manufacturer, have never done before, and you'd be interested in doing that, I would encourage you to do so. I think that's great. And also, obviously, would get your name known pretty well within the town.
Yeah, that's and this kind of gets back to the misconception that, I've got a room full of lasers that are my empire. I try to donate things or sell things at super discount prices to people who actually need things. Um, Veterans, I've given lasers to veterans who they're retired. They just want to do something, right? And maker clubs, like it's like a kind of like a summer camp, not too far from me, about an hour away. And I gave them a laser, and it's just become like the coolest thing for them, right? Because kids love this sort of stuff, right? It's like, for that reason, right? They get to have that creative outlet. And it used to be when you were a kid, you drew something at school and you took it home and stuck it on the fridge. And now it's like somebody cuts something out of plywood and they hang it on the wall at home, right? And so it's kind of neat. It's like the next generation of creativity, I think.
So let's date ourselves a little bit. How many times have you done this for 2 hours? And somebody went like this when you lost all your creativity.
I don't know if I've ever done either of those things.
The Etch-a-Sketch, you don't remember those? The two
Well, yeah,
knives?
I had an Etch-a-Sketch.
And then your brother or sister shook it up on you, and you were like, sad at the world.
Yeah, you'd spend an hour making something, and my brother would go, "Oh, that looks kind of neat. Let me see it." Jerk.
Yeah.
They still make those things?
Yeah, they do actually. I bought my son one not too long ago. I was telling him about the round one though, before the rectangle.
Yeah, I vaguely remember those. They were kind of a gold color, not silver,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. I never had one of those. I had the regular one.
Yeah, my aunts had one, so I got a hand me down.
Yeah, of course. When I was a kid 1,000 years ago, they were like $4 or something. But
we grew up poor, so $4 might have been a lot. You stretched your dollar as far as it would go. Right? So,
yeah, the buying power of $1 was a lot higher when I was a kid than it is now.
For sure. I did see when I was in Canada, though, they still had candy stores. So my kids were quite happy. It may just been a tourist area, I don't know, but
yeah, those tend to be more touristy. Here, where I live, there's a store called the Freak Lunchbox, and they're not a sponsor of me. They're just a place that's received some of my money. They have a lot of retro candy, so candy that I ate when I was a kid. And you go in there, and it's like, where do you even get like the little bag of charcoal candy? I don't know if you remember those. It came in a little canvas bag, and it was this black candy, black gum. It was the grossest thing. But they have it.
Did you eat rocks?
Pop rocks.
Yeah.
They have them there. I used to feed them to the cat.
What the?
Just put one down, the cat would eat it, and then you'd hear the little snaps in his mouth. And
oh, wow. I think what was that cartoon? What was that movie with the kid who did all those pranks? The redheaded kid.
Like
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah. You were the Dennis the Menace, weren't you? There you go.
No, I was never that much of a troublemaker. Every report card my mother ever got for me from a school said that the comment was always there: work below potential. My brother was the troublemaker. I think on one of his report cards, the teacher said he belongs in reform school, not elementary school.
Oh wow! Did he join the military later?
He did. He was in the military.
Okay.
Avionics.
Maybe she wasn't too far off there.
I would like to think I was a little angel in school. All right, let's get back to lasers or something.
So, is there anything that you guys can share that you guys will be soon to be posting?
Sorry?
Anything you guys will be soon to be posting that you can share?
I have a video going live at midnight tonight, midnight my time, that talks about how I built my new logo, my new channel logo, which I sent you.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty easy. And I actually, it's all AI, of course, but I actually did one for this guy who does the D&D tournament. I built him a new logo too. His logo was looking a little, it wasn't ugly. It was just basic. And I threw a new one together for him.
So a total different type of videos that I normally do, but I'm now a Weber guy.
Weber barbecue?
Yes. I'm like geeky into cooking out, man. That's like my thing. Like summertime, if you're not cooking out, actually, I'm lying. I cook out even in the wintertime. So, yeah, I got one of those new flat tops coming. It'll actually be here tomorrow. So, pretty stoked about that. I want form between the stone and the Weber.
I figured I was going on a big stretch to cover my robotic lawnmower. I'm not going to do a barbecue. Weber, if you're listening, don't send me a barbecue.
Just I do a lot of outdoor things, so lawn tools, things in my yard, projects, things like that too. So yeah, so you're gonna start seeing some Weber stuff. But yeah, I've been wanting one of those. I actually want one of them. Like I'm big into hibachi. Love to put
that. I have two Blackstones. I've got a 36-inch we have here at the house, and we have a 36-inch we have up at camp. And I built custom covers for both of them.
So I was torn between the Weber, be honest, and the Blackstone. And the reason I went with the Weber 36 versus the Blackstone was it has this new coating that's non-rust. It's rust resistant.
Like, is it all stainless steel or something? Or just nickel plated?
It has a coating on it, probably like a Teflon pan, right? But it's
mine is the old, it's both of them are probably 5 years old now. And I don't have any rust problems. I know how to season stuff.
Right.
So if you ever look at some of the forums for any of these cooktops, you got all these people that just way overcomplicate it.
Yeah. So we'll see if I way overcomplicate it. I may call and say, "What am I doing wrong?" but yeah, I think it's like $1,500 in on it. So when you add everything up,
well, you have to have accessories,
right?
My barbecue is stainless steel. I bought it at the local hardware store.
So I have a fancy dancy 6-burner stainless steel. But to me, like those kind of grills, just when I want to cook something fast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Weber's tend to be tend to be charcoal, right? So they're not fast.
No, not at all. But there's something to be said about how it tastes.
Yeah, all the carcinogenic smoke that gets embedded into your meat. And
I do hate when someone gives you food and all you taste is lighter food. You're like, man,
no, that's why my barbecue is gas, propane.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm excited. All the accessories showed up today. The bill will show up tomorrow. I got to read through that long contract.
Yeah, so you'll be reviewing like deck lights and all kinds of things before too long.
Yeah, I think so, to be honest with you, because I did some reviews on this thing I built around my pool, putting up a pool. You get like 50,000, 60,000 views just in one of those videos. So I think accessories around it, and then creating things in our shops, to be around them, like actually on our pool, accessorizing them.
Yeah, I'm not willing to diversify that much. I have a hard enough time just covering lasers and CNC things. Although I think Creality's I think going to send me a K2 in the next couple months. It's not available yet, but
I'm really having fun with my new laser. When I set up my first engrave, I put it in the lower left. The job started but failed with a message, something about kerf was out of range.
Well, first you got to make sure that your laser is supposed to home in the lower left corner, because some will home in the upper left corner.
And that could be just a light burn setting, not necessarily the laser itself when you set it up or first installed it.
And if your laser does not have limit switches, you can't use
home for one thing.
Yeah, you can't use home. You're going to have to use current position.
Yeah.
Dave, I would say please repost in the comments what laser do you have?
Yeah, what laser is that, David?
And are you using Lightburn, or what software are you using with your laser? Then we can probably get a better answer.
Here, while he's doing that, here you go. Here you go, Rick.
Pellet grills are the new fat.
Your viewers have spoken. You got to start covering pellet grills.
I actually did a video on one. I've got the Camp Chef.
You guys do the weirdest
smoker. Oh, I do.
You like the manly stuff, man.
I do videos on all kinds of things.
I don't have time for that. I barely have time to eke out a video a week in the laser grill.
Right, I think that's mine. I'm like, what with the Tim the Taylor that show, and he's like, that should be like my channel, right? If it's manly, not that woman can answer, but that's kind of like my channel. Tools, hot rods, lowriders, cool shit. That's it.
My next video that's going to be coming out probably late this week or next week is the hot tub enclosure I just built around our hot tub.
Well, the Rolly Lasermatic definitely has limit switches.
Yeah. I don't have one, so I don't know where it homes.
Yeah, well, either way, if you push the home button, it'll go to wherever it belongs.
Make sure you also have the parameters set up correctly.
Oh, but if you do, so the laser, if it's like the X tool always wants to home in the upper left, but you can say home is in the lower left, and just weird stuff happens, right? Because it's still trying to home in the upper left. So make sure that I'm trying to think of where it is in Lightburn. It might be right on the laser control panel. There's a thing where you can select where the home location is. If that doesn't agree with where the laser's natural home position is, you're going to run into all sorts of strange problems. And anybody who has an X-Tool laser that's tried to home into the lower left corner will know what I'm talking about, because things will be upside down and backwards.
Yes, they will. If I create something, and let's say on an atom stack laser in Lightburn, and then I go pull it into X-Tool, it's backwards and upside down.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Dave has one of these. So yeah, it's lower left, front left. So just make sure in Lightburn you've got your Lightburn home position configured that way, and you should be okay.
Yeah, because when you're setting it up, you literally get the options.
And also make sure you're in absolute positioning as well.
Yeah, absolute coordinates.
Yes, sorry.
If you just chose anything, not thinking there was a big difference.
Look at this Clack guy said, "Oh, he's too busy gluing things up," but here he is lurking again. You really have to join us.
I still think it was hilarious when I made the comments on the glasses. All of a sudden, he was like, and I didn't even know he was watching our live. That was hilarious.
He's trolling us tonight.
I watch him on Sundays.
Yeah, I watch him once in a while. Sundays are always a nightmare for me, though.
I get the notification. I'm like,
yeah. Sunday's the night I call my parents.
Nice.
I wish I had more free time to watch other people's videos. I don't seem to have any free time. What is free time anyway?
It's the time you get back when you ignore something that was supposed to be done.
Yeah, exactly. Got a lot of those.
Yeah. Uh-oh, he said he's probably engraving on rice again.
Well, if he can do it and still make it edible, well,
There you go.
Oh, that was still a fun project. I was just, do you have a P2, an X-Tool P2? I think you do, right? Give it a try. Like, I'm impressed at how fine the beam is on the X-Tool P2, because CO2 lasers are notorious for beams that are huge, right?
I'm still ready for you, Dave.
Yeah,
Let
there
me
you
know
go.
when you get
If I can ever get my alpha mode 60-watt MOPA laser running, I'll challenge you on that.
Okay.
You got that high grade brass from the guy in the UK though, right?
Yeah. Oh, this. If you guys are looking for laser blanks,
Yeah,
There's-
I've been meaning to send this guy a message, and
there's just like
just for no other reason than to make some contact. But
there's like zero competition. I haven't seen anyone, and I think what it is because he's literally making it, right?
he makes his own, yeah.
Right. So you're not like I have found zero competition that's at his level at all. I'm not putting an affiliate link. I'm not making any money. Like I'm just saying, if you wanted to impress somebody and you bought anything from him, hands down, it's just gonna be like
He has some neat stuff too. I was looking at his site. He's got some like if you just wanted to make a bunch of smalls for like a craft fair or something. He's got things that you can't get anywhere else, right?
Right, and the thing is too, so make anything you want. So if he doesn't sell it, doesn't mean he won't make it. So that's cool too.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, that's cool. And so you don't have to order 10,000 stuff. But he's in China right now on vacation. But yeah, just sent me a message on Facebook earlier today. But yeah, he's and again, two people are like, oh, you're gonna order overseas. It's gonna cost if you spend $100, he does free shipping. When you buy in blanks, $100 is fast, right?
Yeah, it's about 8.
Right. And I got it in 5 days. I mean, I know we're all Amazon spoiled, right? You're used to Amazon Prime. I got it tomorrow by 11 o'clock. So I got it in 5 days. But I got it in 5 days, and I can't get it in 5 days.
Yeah, I'm not as Amazon spoiled where I live now as I was before I moved here, because the Amazon, there was a 5 million square foot Amazon warehouse at the other end of the road that I lived on. So I could order things at 9 o'clock in the morning and I would have them by 3 in the afternoon. It's awesome. Now it takes sometimes it takes 3 days. It's like, where's my stuff?
Yeah, they're building a great big distribution center just right across the river from us here. So I think instead of me having 1 or 2 day delivery, it'll probably start being same day.
Yeah.
So I would say there's nothing wrong with buying brass Amazon when you're first starting.
Yeah, I have a bunch of those. They're okay, but
no, I'm just saying if you're just testing and you're just new to lasers, it's not a bad idea to have something you're not so upset when you throw it away. That's all I'm saying, right? When you're still learning your laser, but when you're actually getting customers that are going to buy something and you want them to feel great value or be able to pay more.
Yeah, I have a bunch of those brass ones. Well, supposedly brass from Amazon, and they almost feel like they're aluminum. They're brass plated aluminum or something. Like they're really light. They're and when you engrave into them, like especially with like an F1 Ultra, when you engrave into them, the surface just like you get the texture that you're going for, but it's like sandpaper. Like it's just not right.
I see people posting on Facebook artworks, right? And they'll actually give the specs on to create that file. They'll say, this wattage, this many passes, and I see people with 512 passes. And I'm like, anything over 256 passes on a coin, like you went over that, you can't put anything on the backside. So that's Hello everyone. Can I get some advice on buying a laser printer?
Laser.
Leave the printer part off.
I'm particularly interested in engraving very detailed, but also cutting wood. Let's just say 8 to 10 millimeters, not necessarily in one pass.
Oh, probably 20 watt, 30 watt, right in there. You'll get a finer engrave with a lower watt head as a rule. You need to check the specs, but a 20 watt will engrave much finer detail than, let's say, a 40 watt will. But a 40 watt will cut faster.
So when he says that, just think about the beam, right? So you got a 40 watt, it's going to have a bigger beam. So that's why it may not be as detailed, because if you're using
Yeah, so that's one of those myths I've always been trying to dispel. Yes, a lot of 40-watt lasers have bigger beams than 20 or 30-watt lasers, but that's a design choice, right? So the We Create 40-watt laser is 0.9 by 0.09 by 0.1 millimeter. That's like really small for a 40-watt laser. Compare that to the 30-watt Rolly, which is like 0.3 millimeters in one dimension. And it doesn't have to be that way, right? It doesn't have to be bigger just because you went to more power, but
it seems to be the norm.
It's most often the norm. But one of the specs you want to check, other than power, because everybody wants power, right? But check the spot size of the beam when you're buying a laser.
So one thing I have to say too, that's like I'm repeating Roger, that make sure you're reading the power rating right. Roger, do you want to give your spiel on that?
Oh, the thing about the input power and the output power, most of them now are just going with the output power. But boy, when lasers were first on the market, we've got this 100-watt laser. Yeah, well, it's 10-watt output, or maybe 5 or 7. So that was real deceiving. But most of the laser manufacturers now have got away from claiming that.
Yeah, I haven't seen one of those in a long time, actually. I think too many people called them out on it, and
bait and switch.
Yeah, well, I think they started doing that because they got away with it with light bulbs, right? Oh, it's a 100-watt light bulb. Yeah, it consumes 100 watts, but it only puts out about 30 watts.
Yeah. See you next Wednesday. Got to make sloppy joes and home fries. That actually sounds
man, I want to go to his place.
Yeah.
Actually sounds really good right about now.
I wonder if it's cooler there, because man, it's hot here.
West Coast? It's probably a little cooler.
There are so many options on the market that are very hard to choose. I settled on 2 printers, the Rolly Lasermatic and X-Tool S1. But what really worries me about the Rolly is that it has a very large spot size, and I don't know how detailed they can engrave. What options would I have of a CO2 printer? Thank you very much, and all the best.
Yeah, the spot size concerns me too, but I haven't seen anyone complain about it. Everyone loves the Rolly.
And I have the S1, and I like that. So
yeah, I like the S1 is definitely one of my top 4 kind of lasers. It's a very nice laser, even in the 40-watt. It's got decent engraving.
And if you're going to move into a CO2 laser, depends what your budget is, or you're not going to have much of a work area.
Yeah, be prepared with a CO2 laser. So a very good high-end diode laser is going to cost you maybe $2,500. A reasonable CO2 laser is going to cost you probably twice that, or close to twice that. Like a X-Tool P2 is $4,500, and that doesn't have a huge workspace. It's not as big as most diode lasers, at least in one dimension.
And you'll also have more maintenance with most CO2 lasers than you will with a diode laser.
Cooler tank, and you might have.
Yeah. Although, so we've talked over the last couple of weeks about cleaning diode lasers, and I said I've never cleaned one. I was cutting something with I was trying to cut a razor blade with the Creality Falcon 2 Pro 60-watt.
Okay, why were you trying to cut a razor blade?
Just because they said they could cut metal with it. And all I had was a knife blade, a box cutter blade, and about halfway through it popped up the lens light, which I had to take the thing apart and clean the lens, and it was pretty dirty. And that was the first time ever. It was kind of cool though, because I'm just powering through this thing. I'm crawling along really slow at 100% power, and there's sparks flying off this metal.
Steve, no new coins yet. I've been traveling, so I've been gone the last 2 weeks. So I'm home, and I got some projects I'll be putting out, and a ton of new content. So you'll see some stuff. But thanks for asking.
It's 82 at his place.
Now,
actually-
that's considerably cooler here. It's probably, I don't know, it's getting late now. It's probably still 90 out there, though,
He's on the
Yeah.
West Coast, though, so it's still
with the
it's still-
equivalent humidity.
Steve, what state are you in again? I forget. I know you commented that.
Me?
No, Steven.
Oh,
Illinois.
he's in
Oh, Steve, he's in Oregon, I
in-
believe.
Oregon, yeah, or West Coast, anyway.
I guess I was just out that way and then headed to the other Steve's way. Then
And
head
now
back.
he's disappeared to eat his sloppy joes, and I'm so envious.
I haven't had a sloppy joe. You know when you almost taste it. Right? Oh, man, I haven't had sloppy joe in so long.
It's been a long time since I've had a sloppy joe.
Okay, but are you a sloppy joe like the manwich out of the can? Or are you like ketchup and barbecue make your own sloppy joe?
What? No. Well, make your own for sure. But I don't know about ketchup.
I know a lot of people put ketchup in sloppy
Yeah,
joes.
I don't do anything with ketchup.
Roger.
Oh, I'm a ketchup person.
There you go.
Although I don't put it on French toast or eggs or anything weird like that. But actually, I don't even put it on fries. I prefer the fries without them. But on a burger, yeah.
So ketchup, just since you were talking about Canada versus the US, ketchup here is very different than American ketchup. Ketchup here is very sweet, which is one of the reasons I don't like it. If I'm in the US, I'll actually have ketchup on something, but here I just can't. It's too sweet. I just can't deal with it.
When I was over in the Czech Republic, getting ketchup that's like a luxury item over there. You have to ask for it specifically, and then they charge extra for it. I thought that was kind of odd, but
I thought it was weird because the ketchup wasn't refrigerated.
Well, mine is in the refrigerator.
They were like, I asked for ketchup. They opened the cupboard. No thanks.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who does that, but if you go to restaurants, it's always on the table. But
Right. Yeah. It's
well,
always,
ketchup does have a pretty high vinegar content, so it's very acid.
Yeah.
Kind of keep bacteria from growing too fast.
yeah, that was different.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything about ketchup bothers me.
So I could never eat green ketchup when Heinz came out with it.
I was going to ask you if they had the Heinz weird colored ketchups. They had purple. They had green here.
Purple and green.
They had ketchup. I think there was ketchup that looked like mustard, like it was yellow, but it was ketchup.
Yeah.
It's just
You
like,
think
why?
I didn't taste it. I couldn't do it. I'm like, I just can't. Like I just couldn't do it. It tasted weird.
You couldn't convince yourself it was like green chili sauce or something?
Yeah, no. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I don't think they sell that anymore. That was a marketing failure.
Yeah. Somebody had a great idea. Didn't work out.
Sure. Yeah, that was a wonderful idea.
So, in case anyone's wondering, Conrad, our loyal companion who runs the back end of our show, he's not joining us today because he had some dental work, and he said he's not talking won't be so cooperative.
Although if he was still under anesthetic and still talking with all that, that might be kind of entertaining.
Yeah, slurring his teeth.
Couple beers. Yeah, yesterday from all that driving, man, I was about the last hour of work that I went in, and I started feeling like drunk. And I'm laying in bed next to my wife. It's 9:30 at night, and I said, I feel like I'm drunk. I'm so tired. And she says, everything's not a competition. I said, what are you talking about? She says, I was sitting next to you while you're driving. I said, sleepy. And then I said, hey. I said, well, if it was a competition, I guess she would because she's already knocked out.
Doesn't your SUV have self-driving capability?
No, I have a Dodge Ram. It doesn't do that.
Oh, I thought you had a like a Cadillac or something.
I had an Escalade.
Lincoln.
I had an Escalade, the EXT. Yeah, I sold it. But
Yeah,
even not self-driving.
I don't know. I have a Tesla and I almost never use it on any kind of automated driving. I will if it's a long trip and I'm on like a 4-lane highway or something. But I think it's a throwback to my days is writing software and seeing people write software. It's like, yeah, I know some guy wrote code for that. I don't trust those people.
Yeah.
I was when on my first Tesla, when I had it when autopilot just came out, so I had like the first version of it, and I turned it on. I think this is fantastic, and in the early days, it would track the car in front of it, and if you came to a traffic light or something, it would stop, and when the car would go in front of you, you would go too. And the very first time I did that, I thought, this is neat. It stopped. It didn't hit the car in front of me. And it's now we're at a red light. When the light turned green, the guy in front of me turned left. And I watched my steering wheel starting to turn to the left. And I went, what the hell? I want to go straight. There was that incident. And I was on a multi-lane highway, and there was a flatbed truck beside me. And right when it was between his wheels, so I'm looking at like road on the other side of him, my car decided it was going to start wandering over in that direction, and it's like, I don't want to go under this truck. Yank.
You didn't see the Fast and the Furious? It's possible.
Well, Jimmy,
yeah, I don't care.
Jimmy Chase did it at Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
Steve, no new coins yet. Soon.
I really wish I had a 60-watt MOPA laser up and running, because I'd be making coins just to say, hey, look, I make them too.
Soon. I've been traveling, so I have some.
I'm thinking of when I get this 60-watt laser running, I'm thinking of going into the coin making business for the IBEW.
Oh yeah, we're going. So I'll give a sneak peek. I have a titanium coin from that supplier that I showed earlier.
Yeah.
Put a Aztec calendar.
Have you tried engraving titanium? Titanium's got to be pretty hard.
We're gonna try. We're gonna put this 60-watt MOPA to the test. This guy right here.
I'll get some of that counterfeit Chinese titanium that they've been trying to sell to Boeing.
Well, I think they sold some, and it's in planes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, Airbus has it too. We can't just pick on Boeing, but
Roger, that last video was great.
Oh, thanks. That's the one on making laser patterns.
Yeah, so that's my next ambitious goal, to make a titanium, and it's an actual larger coin.
Yeah, they're pretty substantial pieces of metal, those ones you're getting.
Yeah.
Like they're like 3 inches across or something, right?
Yeah, some of the bigger ones, yeah. Could be like a medallion or something.
Yeah, it's like you're making necklaces for rap stars or something.
Make yourself a belt buckle.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, there's a market. Doesn't that guy actually have belt buckles? I think I saw some on there.
He does.
So you could engrave them.
You know, I tried to market to some Mexican bands that I do a lot of work for shirts and hats and stuff. I said, hey man, I'll make you some belt buckles. And I just assumed they'd be down because I saw that he made it. And he said, oh, we don't wear belt buckles. I said, oh, you Mexican wear these built buckles, do whatever. And he says, no, we used to, but it rubs against our instruments. The instruments are expensive, so we don't wear them. So,
there you go. See, I'm drumming up business already.
An IBW coin, that's cool. I retired from IBW about 30 years ago. I would love to engrave one from my former guide. Not sure what the template, local 254. So Roger and I are both IBW guys. I'm IBW local 9. Roger.
I'm 145, retired.
So that was a coin. And then on the back side, I made this. It's maybe hard to see.
So where's local 254 at? What part of the country?
It says when the wind blew, out came the line crew. And it's patinaed because nobody liked it when it was just solid brass. So that black is.
Why did you put the guy from ZZ Top on there?
It's 2 transformers. And,
oh, okay. It looks like or is that Roger with a beard?
Yeah, that could be.
It's Roger, actually. I just didn't want to pay him for the artwork.
Yes, and I'm in no local of IBEW. I was a software guy, so I just see a target rich environment for products. So
You're
insulting
lying
the
now.
unions.
Come clean. You were in the union at one point in your life. So you're not.
Oh, there you go. Gord's in Calgary. Hey, do you have water yet, Gord? Like some 2-meter water main broke in the middle of the city, which is like the feeder for 90% of the city. It's just insane, and it's been down for a couple of weeks.
Crazy.
And they said it's going to be down for 3 or 4 more.
Wow.
So nobody in Calgary is allowed to like take a shower or do anything. So it's probably a pretty smelly place right now.
Well, let me know. Send me an email if you want me to hook up with you and see if we can do something for you. Here's my email. It's like Steve's on fire today, man. It's each $2 each. Thank you, Steve. Was a warrior woman.
Oh, cool. Red deer. Red deer. Lots of water, but more forest fires too. Probably none there this year though yet. Did you guys get impacted by all the forest fire smoke last summer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal here. Well, not so much where I live. There was one fire that broke out that burned down like 40 houses because it tore through some neighborhood. But Alberta and Northern Ontario, up Kirkland Lake, up where you were as a kid, there were lots of forest fires last year. This year it seems to be a little wetter.
When I went up to the building I work at, the second floor wasn't too noticeable. When you went up to the 6th floor, that's when you could really see like smoke.
Yeah,
it was kind of crazy.
I'd like to say sorry, but we've been getting acid rain from the Ohio Valley for most of my life, so call it repayment.
What do you say? Sorry, not sorry. I almost need to have you say that again. What did you say? You're what?
Did I say something?
I'm making fun of you how Canadians say sorry.
Sorry?
Yeah. There you go.
What should I say? Sorry?
Yeah. My wife still says it the same way. So. Yeah.
Sorry.
You get out on the boat you got a nice tan there, Roger.
Oh, I'm working outdoors every day. So I'm out in the sun. But yeah, I was out in the boat last weekend. We're out on the river. Get a good time out there. I definitely take weekends off. That's a requirement in the summertime.
So I think if I follow Steve's footprints and finally make a deal with one of these robot lawnmowers, if I can get out of the 14 hours sitting on a John Deere tractor cutting my grass, I think I'll have a little more.
Yeah, I have to say, it was much more comfortable sitting on my deck drinking a beer, watching the lawnmower cut the grass than riding my tractor through my lumpy yard. There's not a lot of suspension in a tractor, as you probably have noticed.
Yep.
So every time you hit a hole, you feel it.
Yep. So I have a Kubota and I have a John Deere. But
you have a bigger Kubota, right? You have a B series or something.
Yeah. So I have a smaller Kubota and a bigger John Deere. But
see, I have a BX, which is the small one, the baby Kubota. It's still diesel, like it's three.
Yeah, no, yeah, I just want the one. But I like it because I use it for the till box.
Yeah.
And to do my garden, it's just easier to maneuver versus the John
Yeah,
Deere.
mine. Well, where I bought it before I moved, I was doing a lot of landscaping in my yard, so it was more economical to buy a tractor than to rent one from like Home Depot or some rental place. So I bought one, and I bought one with a backhoe because I had to dig a few trenches and stuff. Well, here where I live now, you can peel the grass off and you hit rock, right? So there's not a lot of use for a backhoe.
I would say the difference between my Kubota and my John Deere is a Kubota in high any gear. I could pretty much, if I wanted to, ride it wheelie the whole time, right? I think the torque is like, boom.
Yeah. Well, it's diesel. That's the big difference, right?
Well, when I mow with, we have an acre to mow here. I've got a Deere LX 570, and it's got cruise control, and I can, unless I let it get really, really long, I can mow really fast. I can get this whole yard done in less than an hour.
See, I mow kind of slow. I would say I'm about a quarter on the pedal. I like striping.
Yeah, but that's because you're trying to carve some design into your lawn, right?
I mean, I guess if I want to get through it, I could just, pedal to the metal.
I mean, if you want a lawn, you can play checkers on after, sure. Like,
I did that a couple times in our backyard just for fun.
I'm Mexican. Did you not know? I'm pulling the race car on this one.
but yeah, I will. This will be my one deviation away from like workshop equipment. I will do a review on this robot mower I have, because it is the coolest piece of technology. It's probably got more technology than most people's cars. Certainly for accuracy, like it's accurate on the planet to within a centimeter, so less than half an inch. And it's a piece of technology that I literally turned on and forgot about. And I was telling Rick before we went live, I was working, was it this morning or yesterday morning? I'm working away here in my studio, and I look out my window, which is right beside me, and I see the thing going by, and it's like, oh yeah, that thing's running. So it was kind of cool, and that's the best kind of technology, the kind you don't have to think about.
Yeah, I would say when it comes to those, like if it has the whole rope, like the dog, like the boundary lines, I think that's like wah, wah.
Yeah, this one's completely, it's got AI built into it. It can climb hills like crazy. Like it can climb a 38-degree slope. It's all-wheel drive. Looks like a Formula One race car. Like it's a really nice piece of equipment.
In your front yard, guaranteed. You sit there with a shotgun and watch it so your neighbors don't steal it. That's really
well, so this thing, so there's a couple of safety features on it. So it has theft safety. As soon as you lift it, it screams, basically. It says, "Hey, I've been lifted," like in a loud voice. It sends a message to my phone. It locks, so you can't restart it, and it's pointless to steal it anyway because you can't register it again. It's already registered, so you can't ever use it. The only thing you could do is strip it down for parts. So, and it actually has room in it to put, there's a few places where you can put an air tag. So,
and you might see it on one of those bot shows, like the robots go to war.
Yeah.
That's my bot. I know it is.
So does it have a good foreign object detection, like if the neighbor's dog runs in front of it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a stereoscopic camera in it. It's got bumpers on the side. It's got 4 not infrared, ultrasonic detectors on it, pointed in 4 different directions. Like the thing is like got more eyes than most. It's like an Apache helicopter on the ground. Like it's
the only thing that I was kind of like skeptical on was the X-Acto knife type blades. That's what they look like.
Yeah, they're bigger, but
same kind of style.
Yeah, but they work amazingly well. Like I had it cut, so there's a spot, because I had a tractor. There's a spot under a tree that I can't get my tractor in, and I'm too lazy to take the weed whacker out to it after. So it was pretty long, and it just chopped right through that. Hacked it all down.
What about a branch? It's a stick or something.
I guess so. I mean, I cut my lawn fairly long anyway, so my lawn is usually about 3 inches. And it won't hit most sticks anyway. But if it hits a stick, it'll just stop the blade, and it'll meander its way around the stick and keep going.
What keeps it from leaving your yard? This is the problem with my previous generation.
Yeah. So you basically, when you first start it up, you define the perimeter of your lawn, and basically you get a thing like a little joystick on your phone, and you follow the thing around and basically say, here's where the perimeter is, and it draws an outline. You can have multiple zones and stuff too, but it won't go beyond that perimeter. If it does, actually it locks, because the only reason it's going out there is it's either lost, which probably won't happen, or somebody's trying to steal it.
And I may be getting too technical, but it would be if you could do it AS file, like Google Earth type shot.
You broke up there.
I said it would be awesome if those software supported 3GIS software or import files, because then it'd be like almost like a Google Maps.
So you can actually, I think it's built in there. I don't think you can import a file though, but you can project your perimeter, your zones on top of Google Maps in their app. Yeah.
That's cool.
So it's like, I mean, there's a lot of technology in this thing. Now, the elephant in the room, of course, is this thing is not cheap, right?
Right.
For the one I have, which is the 10,000, is good for 2.5 acres or something. You can buy a riding mower for the price of this thing, but you have to ride it. Then that's the real problem, right? That's the whole point of going to this, was to get me 4 hours back that I can get in my shop and actually make some money.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool, for sure.
So that'll be coming soon. Like I said, it'll be my one deviation from reviewing lasers, and the motivation is it's saving me time so I can actually be in my shop to work with lasers.
Yeah, I think I haven't personally seen anyone ever like driving by Seagull's. I don't think they're that as common yet, but I think the price comes down, you might see more.
Yeah.
Especially in areas like California where you can't even have a gas lawnmower or a gas weed whacker. You might see those.
Yeah, the nicest thing about this mower is it's virtually silent. Like I had my window open yesterday when it went by, and I just heard a little rustling. Like, it was very, very quiet. Which, by comparison to my Kubota tractor, which is is slightly higher level than silent.
Yeah. But I did ask you though, does it strike, right? You still see the lines?
You can, yes. So you can cut. There's lots of cutting modes. Like you can cut in a straight line, but every time you cut, you can rotate by a particular number of degrees. You can cut checkerboards. You can cut shapes into your lawn. Like if you want to put like your team numbers in there in your lawn, you can do that. I'm not sure what value that is. They asked me, they said, can you make sure you show like cutting something into your lawn? And it's like, well, probably not.
How about crop circles?
Well, it's kind of like that, right? You can actually, I think you can upload an image. They have a bunch of images built into the app, but I think you can upload an image and cut it as well.
I know we don't speak politics normally, but we all know you put Trump. So I can take a picture of Google Earth.
Sure. Yeah. So we don't talk politics, but as a Canadian, I watch American news just to see your whole political system in action. It's kind of like the Titanic moving at about 1 knot. And everyone sees the iceberg, but no one's doing anything about it. That's my perception of American politics in a nutshell. Not picking one side or the other. I think the whole thing's messed up. But
so every family member that I went to his house while I was in Canada, it was like the very first question I got asked: "Are you a Trump fan?" And I was like, "What is this? Is that what you guys just think about over here? why is that even a topic?" But I got asked that every house I went into in the family. They wanted to know.
Yeah, so there was again, not to talk about politics, but when Trump got found guilty, and became a felon, that basically meant he's not allowed to come to Canada.
You know what they're saying though is, if the president could be a felon, then the check mark when you apply for a job, are you a felon, should be removed.
Yes.
Because the highest position in our country can be a felon. Why does it matter if you can't bag groceries at Walmart?
Yeah.
Something to be
Again,
said. Something to be said.
one not Titanic. I just keep going back to it.
I'm not making the argument any better, right?
Some guy out on the bow has got like some high power binoculars going, yeah, there's an iceberg out there. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. No one's saying turn the wheel.
Well, we'll see what happens. You can't be a president from prison, so we'll see what happens. Craziness.
Politics, global politics in general has become such a mess.
No, I think that we launder our dirty laundry out for everyone to see, right? And I know with social media now, you can't really say anything because 5 seconds the whole world knows. But I think other countries do a better job at not airing their dirty laundry.
We don't. We air our dirty laundry all the time. So.
Iceberg in November. You must say them Slappy Joes pretty fast, man. I didn't eat dinner yet. I got kind of a little bit hungry when I heard that.
We had burgers on the grill today, so I got a full belly.
I don't know what my wife made, but it smells damn good. We'll get off the live and we'll go up there and eat something.
Maybe you'll have to become a food channel then.
Oh no.
Does your wife doesn't help you at all with anything YouTube-ish, right?
No, she hates it.
No, my wife doesn't want anything to do with it either. She's only all the videos I have. She's only watched one. And that's because she wanted to see our great granddaughter in it. And she only watched that excerpt though. She didn't watch the whole video.
I'm trying to convince my wife to quit her job and become my manager.
The only thing my wife liked about it was when my son got sponsored by Nike.
So he gets free shoes for life?
Yeah, he gets shoes. So then all of a sudden, my son has an Instagram account. And she's posting his post on there.
He doesn't have an agent yet?
No, but you know what is funny is the Ritz-Carlton. We stood at the Ritz-Carlton on a trip, and he was looking out a window and he's looking at a crane. And I was telling him he's building this building. And she took a real nice photo. And the Ritz-Carlton actually responded on the comments, said that they hope they enjoyed our stay. Like they recognized their own. It's not like it was tagged. Like they knew it was their hotel. It's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. Well, I'm happily terrible at Instagram. Social media in general, just the invasion of privacy terrifies me.
Yeah, just.
No, I don't do Instagram. I don't do Twitter. I do have a Facebook account, but it's just for like family stuff.
So I tried creating a Rick's 2 Cents Facebook to separate because my name on Facebook is Rick Ramirez. Because then everyone's, these manufacturers, friend requests me. At the end of the day, like we're posting pictures of our kids, and I don't know, you kind of weird out, right? And but it's hard sometimes for me to draw that fine line. Somebody wants to send me $8,000 laser, and they friend request me, and I feel like obligated to accept, right? But at least then what I do is I go to my Rick's 2 Cents and I request them to follow. So on Facebook, I'm in the top 5% of influencers on Facebook. I got an award from Facebook. But on Instagram, I think I have like 84 followers. Maybe even less.
Yeah, I would like to be better at, particularly Instagram, because it's a good place to post projects that you work on and stuff, right? But I'm just so bad at it. Oops. Sorry.
Have you heard? I don't even know.
I have heard of that, but I have never looked at it.
Yeah, I've heard of it too, and again, I haven't looked at it either. But
I'm so busy, I don't need another marketplace. I can't keep up with what I got to do here.
How do you pronounce that?
Go Imagine.
Go Imagine. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's it's another Etsy competitor. The problem is Etsy has so many eyeballs, right? Like they can basically charge what they want, and people will go there, and it sucks because I don't know. Etsy it's okay, right? Like it's not like gee, you got to be there, otherwise you're some kind of a maker loser.
Well, for us, Etsy's a gold mine. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just
Oh, I
so
I
much
make
product through there.
a bit of money on Etsy. I don't focus too much on it because I do mostly custom stuff. But I see what you get for what they charge, but I don't know.
I charge accordingly, though.
Yeah, you end up charging more for stuff, right?
Hey, Gord, so my bad. I do have the DJI mic. I normally wear it on my chain. I was traveling. It was in my camera bag, and it may have not have been sitting firmly on the point of contact, so it wasn't fully charged, and the mics were. So I'm using the mic right now. So I'm so close to in the MacBook Pro. So sorry, my audio is not the greatest today, guys.
Technical difficulty originates with the user.
Let me down. I was just in my camera bag from traveling. Wasn't making a good point of contact.
But that's okay. You can beat on Rick. You missed the last 2 weeks.
I will say though, Roger was having some mic issues too for a little while.
He solved his problem. He gave that mic to what, your son or your grandson?
Yeah.
Give him the terrible mic and keep the good one.
Yeah, well, that's a real nice gaming headset here. This is a high-end one, but my biggest thing is the reason I wear headphones is so I can hear. Because if I had to have speakers out here, I'd have to have them cranked up so loud that we'd be getting feedback.
I just got a set of headphones with the mic built in. I haven't even opened them yet. I actually have like 7 boxes sitting at my front door that came when I was on vacation, so I'm a little behind on videos.
And they were still there. Porch pirates didn't like rip them off.
No, my mom sold her house, so I was staying with me for a little while. She actually just bought a new one. But in the Chicagoland area, houses don't last, right? If you put a house for sale, ready to move because they're gone.
Yeah, that's how it is here too.
Yeah, so my mom put her house for sale and sold it. So she was staying with me, and I told her, like, don't buy something just to buy something. Just take your time to find something you want. So she was here while I was on vacation. So she was piling the boxes. I got a whole pile of boxes. And I also got a ton of new jigs for lasers.
Oh, yeah.
And I got an email from those blanks that I just showed you. I pretty much got close to half of what he has available on his website. I should be getting a package soon with basically the remaining items he has for sale. So cool. And I think that video's got like almost 10,000 views. So obviously people are watching it.
Well, lots of people ask about materials.
Yeah.
It's like a daily thing. I get an email saying, "Hey, where do you get materials?" And you can get them. Plywood, you can get hardware store plywood just for hacking around if you want. Good plywood, get laser grade stuff because it's generally flatter. But people don't know where to get materials, right? And especially weirder materials like challenge coins and stuff, right? So it's a question, and people are interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and especially when it becomes good quality. I mean, you can buy crap anyway, right? That's just, at the end of the day, it's just a good product. So, very cool. But I am excited to try that titanium.
It'd be interesting to see how well it works. Yeah, I mean, you can polish it, which is nice.
Right. I was thinking about only doing one side and use the back side as sacrificial because I could do like.
Well, I mean, the settings, it should engrave kind of like aluminum, right? Like it's.
I don't know. I was actually going to talk to them and say, like, do you have any suggested settings? Obviously, they sell them a lot, right? I'm going to reach out to him and see what he says.
Just put a tiny little square in the corner somewhere on the edge.
Yeah. something just to see. Because obviously an asset count is extremely.
Do you have like a metal superstore anywhere near you? Just go and buy just a small piece of aluminum plate. Or a titanium plate. It's gonna cost a fortune, but they might have a scrap in the bin or something that they won't give you a scrap of titanium. They'll still sell it to you, but if you get like just a tiny one, maybe you can get it for $10.
Yeah, let me see. Maybe I'll Google and see. So yeah, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, titanium's hard to get because it's generally a controlled substance, right? Because it gets used for things like missiles and stuff, right? So if you have a big supply of titanium, they start asking questions. What are you doing with all that titanium?
Right. I get affected by the Men in Black and tell them I was making Aztec coins.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, we got like 5 minutes left, so we're soon to get on here. So anyone in the live still, we got quite a bit of people in the live. Thank you for joining. Let us know if you have any questions. Hit them up in the comments. And of course, let us know where you're actually joining us from. We appreciate that. It's good to see that we're doing a large global.
I'm glad Gord showed up today. Another fellow Canadian. I didn't acknowledge the guy with the laser, but he's welcome. I don't think he's Canadian though.
What are you gonna do? Not everyone hugs trees every day. Yeah.
Well, I can throw out a little quick tip on how to really mess up one of them scam telemarketers you get that call you and say, "Hey, this is Amazon," in a really Indian accent. This is so and so from Amazon. I think they said his name was Bob, and we see a charge here for $2,600 on your Amazon account. Is this something you made? I said, yeah. Dead silence. Then click.
You know what I did do? I got roadside assistance before I went to Canada. I said, would you like to set up roadside assistance?
For like a rental car?
No, in Allstate insurance.
Oh.
For like $7. They'll, if something happened in my car, obviously they'll bring you gas, they'll change your tire. I wasn't worried about that too much. But if I get in a car accident, they'll actually give me a rental car on the spot and tow my car back to the States. So because my car was how I was going on vacation, and I actually give you up to $2,000 in like a hotel allowance or inconvenience expense. So I thought it was worth $7.
Yeah. Well, for $7, it's worth it.
Yeah. So I got it just for the trip.
Yeah, because if we see an American on the side of the road, we immediately want to shoot them.
Well, I did bring an impact. The biggest. I got the biggest wall impact, and my tool set, and some flares, and a triangle, and some cones.
Jeez, where were you going? The moon?
Roger, do we not?
If when you're here, if your car fails, you can probably literally walk into somebody's house and stand in their kitchen and say, "Hey, I need some help."
Yeah, well, being from the union, we probably, you go through DOT inspection, you have those in your trucks. So I've always had that kind of thing. You need at least 2 cones, right? Flares and a triangle.
Yeah.
So I had them already, so I just threw it in there. I wanted to bring a hydraulic jack, but we just didn't have it in all the luggage. So if I got a flat, I'd be doing the whole crank that came with it. But thankfully, I didn't have any issues.
Yeah, I would just call roadside assistance.
Although I did get a front end alignment before I left, and I went to 5 different places. Not one person could do an alignment on my truck. They said your truck's too new. So what is that supposed to mean?
What does that mean?
They said that the new vehicles now have sensors in the steering that can sense it's just not an alignment, and they didn't have a new enough machine to go to the truck.
Oh yes, another way software is improving life.
Yeah, so it was just a little crazy. We got 1 minute left in the live, guys. You guys, anything you guys want to help with, comments on, or get us while you still got us? Let us know.
As I mentioned, I'm a technology zealot, but a technology skeptic, right? And as a gentle reminder to everybody when I was working, as a gentle reminder to everybody on my team, I had a sign hanging on my office door that said, "For a list of all the ways technology's improved your life, press 1 now." Just as a reminder, let's not make technology harder than it needs to be. Let's not create another problem by solving something that may or may not exist.
I always say though, technology sometimes because it sounds stupid, but dumb. Not actually, how many phone numbers did you used to know at the top of your head?
I still know lots of them.
Yeah, I do too.
But now my general policy is, if it's not in my contact list on my phone, if it's an incoming number and it's not there, I'm not answering it. It'll go to voicemail.
Yeah.
And if it's in there, then it's somebody I actually know and I can phone them. I don't ever know their number. Right?
You get that thing that says likely a scam?
Yeah, we have likely spam or something comes up on your phone. Yeah. It's easy anyway. They always call it like 6 o'clock at night, right? So anytime the phone rings at that time of day, you just know it's somebody trying to sell you something or bleed you for information.
All right, guys, we're at time. So it's 8:30. I thank everyone for joining our live. I appreciate it. We had some interesting comments. A couple of new people that I didn't recognize. So thanks again for joining.
Yeah.
If you're not already a subscriber to each one of our channels, on the bottom you see the tick. I would suggest and encourage you to subscribe to each one of our channels. You guys want to say anything before we close out here?
No, it's always an interesting conversation. Sometimes we even talk about lasers.
Yeah.
Our lives are not scripted for a reason. We don't want to be scripted. We want to be questions and answers and be open and honest to our subscribers. So I thank you guys for joining us and sharing this time with us. And I look forward to next week.
Let's work on Clack and see if we can get him on.
All right, Clack. Dave, send us a message, bro. And let's see if we can get you joined next week's live.
He's probably gone to bed now. So
you say that, and all of a sudden we're gonna see boom.
It'll pop up.
One of those eBay sniper bidders. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's that guy that waits till the last 3 seconds. Bounces your bid.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everyone.
We'll see you all next week.
Yep, bye. Hey, he's there.
Here he is. You did it. You did it. That's it. You are an eBay sniper bidder.
He's the last comment again.
See you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
See you.
God bless.